And again, as always, the point of Chazarah is to actually know it. And I know that sounds like a chiddush, but that is the point of Chazarah. And I guess
I thought you were going to say the point of Chazarah is to actually Chazar.
Well, that Hagufa, not just to read the words. I'll just repeat from Ray Newman, which I of all the things I heard from him, this was like the biggest chiddush. I associate with this a lot. He said it's not about how many times you read the Gemara. It's actually knowing it. Now, it sounds like so stupid and so simple. But the honest truth is, how many times do we we chazer, we read through it, we all could, pretend well. With the challenge, do we actually know it? So, let's try to get there. Says the Gemara, says Vav and Aleph, Tikra she'ein aleha ma'aziva. We have a roof that doesn't have any plaster. So what's a roof without plaster? It's basically wooden boards. Rav Yehuda Omer, says Rav Yehuda. Beishame Omer mefak fake. Says Beishame, we have to loosen them and take out one from beneath the others. And we point out, what does it mean take out one from beneath the others and fill it in with kosher schach? Beis Hillel Omer mefak fake. Either loosen it, or take out one from amongst others. And Beis Hillel, we understand a lot. Because what's a roof? The problem we would think, without knowing anything, is that it wasn't made as a sukkah. So now take your sukkah, your roof, and kasher it. How do you kasher it? Either shake it or do something to it to make it into a sukkah. That is Rav Yehuda's way of explaining the machlekes. Rameir Omer, noitalachas mimentayim ve'inoi mifakvek. Take out one from amongst the others, and you do not need to loosen it. Says the Gemara. As we explained, Beis Hillel is very simple. Meaning, the roof was not made as a sukkah. So if you go and you either loosen it or take out one and put it in uschach, you make it into a sukkah. What's the reason Beishame we can't understand? If it's because it wasn't made as a sukkah. One is enough. Meaning, what's one? Either loosen it or take out one from amongst the other. If it's because of Gzeras Tikra, which harkens us back to Yedalad Amud Aleph, that there was a Gzera made, that even though there's nothing wrong with your schach, but because it looks like your house, if that's the reason it's an issue, then so asks the Gemara, what is Pshat and Beis Shammai? Is it, again, Beis Hillel's Pashit Asol Min HaAsui? Beis Shammai, we can't understand why you need both. Says the Gemara, Lailam, Misham, Gzeras Tekra. Really, the reason is, it's a Gzera. Really, it's a Gzera that it might look like you're sitting in your house. V'achi ka'amri. And this is what's going on. Says Beis Shammai, we're chazering on Tezvavam and Aleph. Afal pi, even though shemifakfek, says Beis Shammai, even though you already loosen them, still in Ilai. Why? Because Beis Shammai holds it's a gezerah. It looks like a roof. So it says Beis Shammai, you could shake it from today to tomorrow. Lamaisa, we have a gezerah derafan, and then it looks like you're sitting in your house. So when Beis Shammai in the Mishnah said mefakfek v'noitelachas, he didn't mean you have to do both. He meant really noitelachas, take one out. All he means to teach us, if you shook it, you still need to take one out from the other. Asks the Gemara. Very good. Frek the Gemara. What did the Mishnah conclude with? Rameira oimer no tilachas b'bentayim ve'noi mefak fake avalo yefak fake. Rameir hainu Beis Shammai. Comes our Rameir's Beis Shammai. Again, we had a Mishnah. In the Mishnah it says we have a problem that we have a roof with no plaster, which means just wooden boards. We have a machlekes Rav Yehuda and Rameir. Rav Yehuda says machlekes Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Beis Hillel we understand Tasel Manasi. The shaila is Beis Shammai. What's Pshat in Beis Shammai? The Gemara just answered Pshat in Beis Shammai is Gzeras Tikra, which means mefakfik's not enough. you have to take out one from the other. But says the Gemara, if that's true, then what? Then it's the exact same thing as Rameir. Says the Gemara, Hachi Kamar. We're about 20 lines down. The first one line is Loi on Tezvav Amid Aleph. Hachi Kamar. This is what Rameir meant. Loi nechliku beishama u beizilel b'davar zeh. They don't argue. Period. Says the Gemara, my kamashmal on the Rameir. So what does it come out with? It sounds like, if we delve deep into the Mishnah, sounds like what is his machlekes Rameir? And Rabbi Yehuda, says the Gemara, it sounds like the machlekes is whether we say Gzeras Tikra or not. My kamashmal, what does it sound like? To Rameir, it's like Gzeras Tikra. Tezvav Amid Aleph, middle of Chazarah. Smack in the middle of the Amid, the first one line is the Rameir. Sounds like in the Mishnah, Rameir holds of the Gzeira. That's why he says you have to remove one plank from the other. Rav Yehuda, less like Gzeras Tikra. Says the Gemara, that's the whole purpose of our Mishnah. To teach us, do we hold of Gzeras Tikra? We have already had this. Ditinan, in the previous Mishnah, on Daf Yudalad Amud Aleph, which we need to chazer. Ditinan, we learned in the previous Mishnah, Misachach and V'nesarim Divrei Rav Yehuda. You're allowed to use wooden planks as Chach, says Rav Yehuda, V'Rameir Oyser. The exact same thing as our Mishnah. Amar Rav Chia bar Abba, Amar Rav Yechanan. Reisha b'nesarim mishupin askinan. Reisha here doesn't mean Reisha, the first part of the Mishnah. Here means Reisha, the first Mishnah, Daf Yudalad Amud Aleph, is dealing with smoothed out boards. Umishum. Yeah.
When the Gemara was saying the Hababina now. So Leima, the Rabmeir and Rabbi Yehuda, the Machlokes is whether we say to the
Good.
How does it play out in the Mishnah that Rabbi Yehuda?
In Beis Hillel.
In Beis Hillel, I understand. In Beis Shammai.
Beis Hillel holds Tasav Lo Min Asui.
No, Beis Hillel holds there's ticker, and therefore one is enough. Tasav. Yeah,
both of them don't come on Tasav.
Well, I understand what you're asking. We'll speak out again afterwards. I understand what you're asking. But yeah, I think you got it.
The only that he's bringing that the Machlokes between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel is Dafka Tasav Lo Min Asui, as opposed to their sticker, which they both hold is not a problem. As opposed to Reb Meir, who he says Lemaisa, the whole thing is a problem.
Good, very good. We'll speak that again in 1 second. Let's just get to the teretz. Amar Rav Chia bar Abba, Amar Rav Yechanan. Reisha, the first Mishnah, has been Isarim Mishupin. Is smoothed out boards askinan. Umisham gzeras kalim naguba. New gzera. It's not a gzeras taker. It's a gzera of kalim because it looks like the boards are smooth. It looks like it's a keli. Period. So before we continue, let's just speak out what's going on over here. We have a Mishnah Daf Yudalid that discusses a machlekes Rav Yehuda and Rameir. We have a Mishnah in our Mishnah, Rav Yehuda and Rameir. In our Mishnah, Rameir says all you could do is take out one from the other. The Gemara explained what does Rameir mean? Because Gezerah is Tegra. We have a Gezerah that the roof looks like the roof of your house, and the only way to fix it, says Rameir, is taking out one from amongst the others and adding in other schach. Rav Yehuda says, no, we don't hold of Gzeras Tikra, which is Shitas Beis Hillel, which is what? Either mefakfek, oy noitlachas mi bein taim. The Gemara said, why do we need two Mishnayos teaching the same thing? So we have a new teretz, that the previous Mishnah was not discussing a roof, but rather was discussing smoothed out planks. Who cares? Smoothed out planks, what we're saying right now is a different Gezerah. Gezerah's kalim. That if we allow you to use smoothed out planks, you know you might come to do? You might put kalim on your roof. Says the Gemara, Ula Rav Yehuda Maram, this is Succah Chazarah of the previous Amudim. According to Rav Yehuda Marav, this goes back to Yud Beis and Beis. Damar, that taught us, Sachecha bechitzin zecharim kisheira. Benekeva is psula. If you remember, we had two types of arrow shafts on Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph. We had a male arrow shaft and a female arrow shaft. The question was whether it has the point that goes into the arrowhead or whether it has the hole that the arrowhead goes into it. So one of them had this hole, which means it's a base kibul, which means it could hold something. It's a kli, which is maybe a reason to passel it. Well, that one is a reason. The question is, do we also passel up the male arrowheads? So Rabbi Yehuda Marav said, no, there's no gezerah. V'loi gazar zcharim atu nekevais. So ask the Gemara according to Rabbi Yehuda Marav that says there's no problem. Hachanami lo nigzanisar mishupin atu kelim. We should also not have a gezerah by us. We just explained that the Mishnah Daf Yudalid is not the same machlekes as by us. Why not? Because by us it's Gzira as Tikra. By us it's Gzira, you let it have schach that just look like planks. And Daf Yudalid was what? Smoothed out planks was Gzira's Kalim. Says the Gemara, Rav Yehuda Marav doesn't hold of that Gzira. Ela al Karchach says the Gemara, you know what you have to tell me? Reisha, the Mishnah Daf Yudalid, Pligi B'Gzira's Tikra. V'Seifa, and the Mishnah Be'asan Naftas Vav, Pligi B'Gzira's Tikra. V'Afligi B'Tarti Zimni Lamali. Why do we need to have the Machlekes 2 times? Seifa, our Mishnah, Rav Yehuda the Ka'amar Leila Rav Meir. Our Mishnah, the following is the conversation. Rav Yehuda says to Rav Meir, Amai ka'asarta min isarim. Why do you, Rav Meir, hold it's a problem? You, Rav Meir, hold it's a problem, Mishom Zeras Tikra. Asks Rav Yehuda, and this explains really what's going on in the whole Machlekes Beisham Beisil Rav Yehuda Rav Meir. Hi Svaras Beishamayu Tislu Ubeisil Eloi Gazri. And on that, the depth is what does Rav Meir respond? Rav Meir Loi Nechlugu Beishamei Beisilel Bezavar Zeh. They don't argue on this matter. Beautiful. Now we really have the depth of our Mishnah. Rav Yehuda, there is a machlekes. And Kufa, Rav Yehuda is pointing out, is the machlekes that Beis Hillel argues with you. Givaldik. We just wrap up loose ends. Hanich l'Rav, this whole story makes sense according to Rav. Again, this is Mamish review of Daf Yudalid. Damar machlekes b'sheish ben arba. What's the machlekes Rav Yehuda and Rav Meir if the plank of wood is 4 tfachim? To Rav Meir is like Xeris Tikra, Rav Yehuda less like Xeris Tikra. El Lishmuel, Damar b'shein ben arba machlekes is only if it's less than 4. Avol yesh ben arba, Divrei Yaakov psula. So Seifa, in our Mishnah, b'mai pligi. What's the machlekes? So the Gemara concludes, you're right. There's a slight nuance of a difference of according to Shmuel and our Mishnah. Bebetule tikra kamifligi. Our Mishnah is arguing about bittul tikra. Mar savar batla ba'achi or mar savar ba'achar lo batli. Well, that's Rav and Shmuel argue about the whole Gzeres Tikra. And if our Mishnah is talking about Gzeres Tikra, that would mean that it has to fit with Rav and Shmuel. So according to Rav, it's good. According to Shmuel, we can have to say. So you have to say our Mishnah is slightly different. Our Mishnah is Bittul Tikra Kamiflagi. That Shmuel is saying that in a case that we have a roof and you're coming to do a maisa to get rid of it being a roof, that's going to be where there is a machlekes. Let's stop here. Let's try to start off Chazar properly. Let's try to read it together from the top, from Tezvav, from the Mishnah. We should have at least 5 minutes, probably 6 or 7, till we get started. Let's try to read through. So hopefully we could do Chazara like a match. Okay, when we get married, we get married. For now, let's try to read from the Mishnah.